Hello, I'm Dan, product specialist at Eizo. Today I'm just going to talk about the newest monitor we have added into the ColorEdge family. So this is the new CG3100X announced literally just today. So this is the replacement for the, well, technically not a replacement, it's going alongside the CG3100X, which we've had for a fair few years. Super popular 31-inch monitor for color grading and lots of video work, and also photography as well. This is a new 31-inch. Essentially, we've just added a few new features, I guess, to be a bit more equipped with the video world. So there was a lot of demand for being able to view HDR properly. Now, this is still standard LCD technology, so it's not going to give you that full 1000 nits with extreme contrast ratio for what we like in HDR, but currently right now we're looking at PQ, when we can see good accurate color. So it still has really nice contrast ratio, still has really good color representation, but it's not proper HDR reference. But for a lot of the workflow, you don't need that. It's only when you're doing the proper HDR mastering for our CG1 over there, that's when you need to worry about the proper contrast and brightness. So this can still be used for a lot of the heavy lifting around the color workflow. So a few of the things that we've beefed up compared to the other models: massive coverage of DCI-P3, 99%. It might technically be higher, but the Japanese engineering way is that they like to round it down just in case one of billions at the factory, you know, don't hit that full 100%. So we always just put it 99%. So if you are grading for, you know, the newest standards of HDR or for any people of cinema, then we've got really nice color coverage off that. On the top of, you know, the sort of HDR theme, they have done an ISO panel which does 500 nits brightness. That's full screen, by the way. It doesn't have local dimming. You don't have to worry about it, you know, getting lower elsewhere to make bright spots. It's not like OLED, just traditional LCD, full screen 500 nits does that nicely. And it doesn't lift the black levels too high either. So we've got 1800:1 contrast ratio. So as we can see, it's quite bright in this environment to really appreciate how the image quality looks, but these black levels aren't getting lifted at full brightness. It's currently at I've got this on full whack right now, and we're not getting any glowy edges, we're not getting any of that weirdness you get from typical LCD. So they've done a really good job in keeping that uniformity really nice and clean all across the panel.
What's the price on this one, please?
They've not announced the price yet, I'm afraid. I imagine it might be a bit more expensive than the previous CG3100X, just because of these additional features. A nicer high-spec panel does typically cost a bit more. In addition, though, since it is a new product, it's more in line with the newer connections. So we've got USB Type-C on there, whereas the old one didn't have that. It still has DisplayPort and HDMI, so you're good to go with most computer systems. Oh, how many nits? Yeah, max out 500 nits. Yeah, I guess the other sort of connection side of things, back to the USB-C, this will also give you power delivery, so keep your laptop nice and charged up. I'm not sure what the actual spec is that, but it will be on our website. It does also have like a full sort of docking station system, like we're doing on a lot of our monitors now. So if you just have a simple USB-C laptop, like a Mac or something, you don't want to have everything plugged into the Mac. You can go inside the monitor. We've got 4 USBs on the side, so you can go keyboard, mouse, Mac on tablet, whatever. Just makes things a bit more clean and tidy when you've got USBs on the side. It works like a hub. In addition to sort of the docking station hub theme we've got going on, there is also an RJ45 Ethernet port in the back. So if you do run a laptop, you don't, well, laptops are so slim these days, you can't really get Ethernet in them. It's not common anymore. So you normally have to rely on Wi-Fi that can be a little bit, you know, a little bit slow, a little bit intermittent. So Ethernet goes to the monitor, through USB-C, it'll make its way to your laptop. Just works like a full docking station hub, which works in, you know, good for a hot desk situation. So a lot of office environments where they need to be able to just plug and play, you'd have your keyboard and mouse, everything ready in the monitor. You just need your laptop and the USB and it's good to go. Just to make workflows a bit more simple and streamlined. Of course, the I've not really talked about, you know, the standard ISO themes here, just more about the differences, but the things that make it stand out, is, you know, compared to other monitors, it does have a nice built-in calibration system. I'll just pop it out just to show you what it looks like. So you can trigger it through the menu. There's also software that drives this if you want to do a lot of customization, but essentially when you calibrate, you normally have to dangle a device over the screen and set it up with other software. It can be a bit long-winded. So that's just built in. You just key it in the menu, you'll pop out and start doing its measurement. Piece of cake. The beauty of it being built in as well is you don't necessarily have to manually go in and trigger that. It has its own built-in schedule. So by default, it would do it every 200 hours. Or you can just tell it to do it set times and dates. So I get mine to do it like midnight once a month. So, you know, it would take care of itself while I'm asleep. I don't need to leave my computer on, wake up, do its thing, and pop back in, piece of cake. I think one of the main themes that we're going for with ISO is that we can, we're just making these things easier to use. You don't have to become a scientist to learn how to calibrate and do that. It's all part of it. Same for all the color modes it has. That's pretty much everything you need here. If you still do, you know, a bit of photography and stills editing, we still have Adobe in there. We've got our normal modes for video, DCI, Rec.09, EQ and HLG, the more common ones. But if you do ever have to do any customization, or if there's a color space that isn't here by default, you can just edit any of these with the software. To be fair, you can reprogram all 10 to anything you like. I know a guy who does, you know, not with this monitor, but they all have the same functions. But for a printed workflow, he's just changed all 10 to different types of paper he has to profile. So you can customize the heck out of it. It's really nice and easy to tweak.
All right, in my hand right now, I've got the brand new Hollyland Pyro 5. This is basically the same as the Pyro 7, except obviously it's now a 5-inch monitor, which is really ideal for like an on-camera monitor. At least for me, I think that's a really nice on-camera size for like a run and gun setup. Has a few differences. First of all, the antennas now just pop out just like that. They pop back in. It has just SDI in, no SDI out this time around. But what it does have is you can do proxy recording on it. You can also trigger record from the monitor as well, which is quite nice. I think, yeah, like it's an ideal wireless monitor setup for a kind of run and gun on camera monitor. But it has everything the Pyro 7 had. It can be a transmitter, also can be a receiver wirelessly built in. Yeah.
Can it trigger all cameras, or are they set to trigger just certain cameras?
It can trigger, let's see what it can do actually, because I've just got my hands on it today. If I go onto the
Seems
settings,
to be a new product. It's not even in the market yet.
Yeah. I think on this model, because this is an early demo model,
Yeah.
you can change the camera brand and model.
Yeah, okay.
But right now, it's not.
So hopefully we can do Panasonic,
Panasonic, yeah, I'd imagine.
Sony,
Sony,
Canon,
Canon, of course.
Fuji, the
Yeah,
rest.
yeah.
What's the weight like compared to the Pyro 7?
The weight, I mean, because you only need one MPF, it's quite
Yeah.
small. Yeah, like if you look at the Pyro 7, obviously you can have V-Lock, you can have 2 MPF, and this
Yeah.
one's just one. So yeah, it's like very small, which I think is pretty impressive for a monitor which has built-in receiver and transmitter.
What's the screen brightness like?
The brightness is 1500 nits.
Okay.
There's Maynard right there. Maynard, look at the camera. Yeah, that's Maynard from Canon Films. Influencer.
So it synchronizes easily with the Pyro antennas
like
and all
it
that.
works perfectly with the Pyro ecosystem.
All right, thank you, mate.
No
Thank
worries.
Hi there, my name's Keith and I'm from Lilliput, UK. We're at the MPTS 2025 show and we're also representing our other product lines as well, the AV Matrix. Let's look at some Lilliput monitors, shall we? This little model here is called the Q712G. That's a 7-inch monitor. It's got 12G SDI input. It's got a very high brightness rating on it as well. You've got standard peaking, focus assist functions and so on. Making it a very good use case for that would be on top of a monitor or in a portable environment. Now, its older brother, or its bigger brother, I should say, is the Q10. That's pretty much the same specification. Again, it's got a 12G SDI input. Two of those actually in and out, I should say. And again, you'll see peaking, focus assist, and so on along the bottom of that one. Again, they're around about the 1000 nit brightness level, so pretty good for outside usage as well. Yeah, it's marvelous. Now, the larger model there is the Q23. Now, Q23, as you can see, is a 23-inch model, but this one is a prototype of something called UQ23, which is not on market yet, but it will have recording options, recording functionality involved inside it, in much the same way as the smaller Atmos type. Pricing-wise on your Q712G, you're looking at $479 plus the VAT. Okay. Pricing-wise on your Q10, that's a similar thing. That's $575 plus the VAT. So they're not particularly expensive when you consider the wide panoply of the market as it is nowadays. Now, your Q7 has got a 2000 nit panel, which is very, very useful. It's adjustable as well, so you can take that brightness up and down as and when you want to use it. And it's pretty much dependent upon the lighting environment that you're in as well. Also has lookup tables as well, the 3D look functionality. So if you're integrating it into a workflow, you can use the lookup tables to keep it all in sync. Similarly with the Q10. The Q10 is the same sort of brightness again, and it also features the lookup tables. As I say, that's just a larger version of that model of monitor. That's pretty much exactly the same sets of functionality. The UQ23 is a newer model, and it has pretty much the same panel specifications as our standard Q23 model, which this is a derivation of the build of. This one, as you can see, has got a very evident on-top hardware tally light. These two units have them as well. They're slightly smaller, but they're there, and some of our models also feature a virtual tally light as well. I think you might be able to select it on this model as well, whether you want to use the physical one or the virtual one, depending on whether you want the distraction.
Oh, hi, and welcome to Portaprompt at MPS 25. I'm John Hilton, and you're on the Portaprompt stand, and we're showing our range of camera head-ups, which include here, this is our Quasar, our broadcast range, through to a range of tablets and microprompts, little 10-inch camera here, prompt monitor here. We then have a tablet-based system that we can use, and then more traditional 12 and our large 24-inch screens and so on. So we go from 10 to actually a 32-inch display that we've got. We only are prompting, nothing else, and have technology at both feature and price points that are suitable for videographers through to full broadcasters. Over here, you'll see our main software that we call WinDigi. And we're actually demonstrating this with a NDI output to our monitors, so we've got an IP workflow. And then the final part of our business outside of on-camera television technology is our conference poles. So these are the live event poles. Maybe if I just get, you can have a look here. This is, I call it Obama glass, but you can see this is a monitor down here and then so these are used by politicians, presentations, live event businesses and so on. That's Portaprompt.